Hey guys, welcome back. Joe here from 9 to 5ers. We're going to be talking about preventive maintenance, and it's going to be focusing on the cars. Again, this is part two, and this is going to be more focused on skilled labor, the repair shop that would need to get done, or you have a general understanding of how a car works. And this is going to be more for finding and vetting and following up with a repair shop. So professional maintenance, you have to first prepare what you're going to need to get done before you go out, and then scout out the repair place. And then also at the end here, you're going to want to keep good records. That's sort of what our overview picture of what we're going to be talking about in this video. What we're looking at here is my car, and this is what I've done is I've created a maintenance log, and it is for what I'm at based on my mileage and what needs to get done. And what I do is when my car hits 98 or 104, I just look in my manual and it says, okay, at 98, you need to replace your oil with the 5W30. You need to rotate your tires. You need to visually inspect the brakes, drums, and all that type of stuff. And what I do is that I then give this to the maintenance people at the shop, and I just say, hey, this is what I need to get done. Please do these things and then check this. And if you need to replace the brakes, then give me a call and let me know you have to do that so I don't get surprised on my bill. But this right here is great because you can track what needs to get done on your car in a real-time basis without having to worry about, man, have I flushed the brake fluid out of my car ever? When did I do that? Well, you can go back and find this and look at it. And sometimes it will need to be done, especially the visual inspections. It might need to be done, depends on how hard you are on your car and how much wear and tear you're putting on it. But you can see that different things need to be done at different levels. And most of the time, it's just replace the oil, tire rotation, and visually inspect the brakes. But at some of the more key mileage markers there, you have to get way more stuff done. But I have this, and create this from your manual, your owner's manual. If you don't have one, you can download one off the internet. Just make sure it's the right make, model, and year. And you can just hang it up on the wall in your garage or in an office somewhere. But as long as you can visually see it and you highlight it off, this makes this type of maintenance super easy, even if you're not doing it yourself. So how to find a good repair shop? Well, what type of shop do you need? Because you might need more than one shop. I realize that there's the tire change, oil places, and that's all they basically do. Maybe they'll get you a new battery. There's those types of shops. And then there's the shops that do actual more extensive type things. There's body shops. There was one time where I had a really old car and the whole muffler system line was falling apart on it, not just the end muffler. And I had to go to a specialty shop that's basically what they did, was a muffler shop. So you're going to want to probably have multiple shops in your Rolodex or in your phone that are reputable. You're not going to have a one-size-fits-all place, more than likely. And also, you got to remember, if you go to a specialty shop where all they do is oil changes and tire rotations, they're going to give you, you're going to be in and out there a lot faster versus someone that can do it all, but then they're going to be like, you're number 25 on our list. And then the next thing you want to do is shout out. And that's what I'm saying is that ask your friends, ask your coworkers, ask your family members, where do you go to get your tires done? Have you ever gotten your muffler replaced? Where'd you go? Was it a good experience? Was it a bad experience? Let me know how it was. This is going to help you culminate your list of potential leads to vet these potential repair shops and specialty repair shops, because your friends and your family and your coworkers are going to be the most honest, transparent resources for you, that you don't have to worry about them deceiving you. Next, if you still have a couple of places that maybe no one's got their muffler replaced recently and they just don't know what shop, or maybe one type of shop everybody's always had a bad experience with and they just like, I don't know where a good one is. You let me know when you find one. So then expand it to social media. Just go, hey, I'm looking within this area of a good body shop. Let me know what your thoughts are. And people on social media, most of the time, if they know the area and they're good friends with you, they will be more than happy to give you good advice on that. I've always had a good experience with that. You just make sure that they're in your local area, obviously. And then last case scenario would be a Google search. And I say be careful here because you don't know who's writing these reviews. It could be someone that is maybe had a semi bad experience and they just give it a 1 star and they just go on there and trash these people. So it's a false review in the negative. But there's also companies out there that they pay people to write good reviews for them, or they give them free stuff to write a good review, even though they've never got their work done there. Or maybe they got something done. They're just like, hey, we'll give you something free if you write a good review about us. I've had a couple of semi-bad experiences with quote unquote good Google reviews, and then I went in there and they were the opposite of that, and that can get expensive. So Google search, use that as just a very broad guide there. And once you have your list of potentials created, then you need to go out and actually vet these places. And you're starting to think to yourself, geez, this looks like it's going to take forever to do. Well, it is worth your time because you want to, because going to a reputable shop that's going to fix your car in a timely manner and charge you a fair price, and knowing that you don't have any knowledge about the car or very little knowledge about cars is critical versus going to one that's always going to upcharge you. So take the time to do this and you will save thousands and thousands of dollars in headache in the long run. So when you're scouting out the location, you kind of want to be looking like, what are you kind of looking for? Well, if they are really, really heavy on their advertising, then you got to remember someone's paying for that advertising, and that's going to be the customer because that's where all their money comes from. A lot of times a shop that just doesn't have any advertising, they just have their sign and that's it. And they have a slew of cars in their parking lot waiting to get done. That's generally a good sign because that's the local person that's been trusted. Looks like the building's been there forever. The guys that are working there, yeah, they're wearing uniforms, but the uniforms are all dirty because they're behind. They got to constantly just like another car's coming. That's generally a good sign that they're charging a fair price and that they are reputable with what they do. That's what I've noticed personally. I've noticed that the ones that are heavy on the advertising have a big shiny billboard with lots of just extra nonsense, and the guys that their uniforms are all clean and pressed and they look like they should be working at a men's clothing store. Those guys, I've never had a good experience with them. That's just my personal opinion. Maybe you've had a better experience than I have, but I'm just kind of going off what I've seen there. And do they have a waiting period? And by a waiting period is that they're just like, yeah, we can get you in, but we can get you in a week from now because we're backed up beyond that. And that's generally a good sign because that means that they have more business than what they can handle. And generally, if a business has more business than what they can actually possibly handle, that generally means that they're good at what they do. You don't want to go to that place where they are looking for like, hey, yeah, we can help you. Like, everybody needs their cars repaired. Like cars are breaking down all the time. So the ones that are bad or expensive or they just don't do a good job, that word gets around quickly and their revenue stream and their clients evaporate. And this is something that you're not going to kind of figure out until you get into the place, and that's going to be, do they ever upsell you when you go and visit there? And that's going to be something obviously that you'll figure out as you take your car in there. Like, we found another problem, ... Now, this could be a real legit thing and they're trying to help you out. And this is something where you kind of have to feel your way out. This is where they kind of can get you without you knowing it. And they do prey upon people that don't understand cars that well or just are clueless onto what's going on. I've had this done to me when I was much younger, and then I figured out how to get around this issue, and this is why I'm telling it to you guys. Or maybe it's like, man, you really, really need to get this fixed. This is really important. Like, this is a structural integrity issue, blah, 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 repairs, doom and gloom. They use scare tactics to get you to spend money. And sometimes they're telling the truth. And other times they're just trying to work up their bottom line. You came in there for an oil change that was going to cost you $50, and then you walk out with a $1,400 bill of all this other quote unquote dangerous stuff that needs to be done and fixed onto your car. How do you fix this? How do you check them? How do you check the checker? Well, if they add something on, what I do is I just go, hey man, I don't have the money right now for that. Can I bring it back? And then they're like, yeah. But a lot of times what they'll do is they're like, oh, we have a credit card offer here and you can sign up for credit. That's another sign that they're not here to, that's generally a bad sign that they're trying to upsell you in a negative way. But just tell, or I have terrible credit, or I don't like credit cards. Tell them something. And then just so, can I bring it back? You got there, your car got there. So it's not like you're a quarter mile away from your car just immediately exploding into flames. And it's highly unlikely. So what you could do is take it to another shop and just ask them to look at that specific issue. Like, hey, I was at another shop and they told me that my brake pads were down to the metal on here, and I really don't understand brake pads. Could you look at it for me and tell me what you think? Now, this is an opportunity for this shop to steal that other shop's integrity in business. And what they can do is they go, oh yeah, you know what? Let's go take a look at it together. So they put it up on the rack, and the car's, above your head, and you're out there with your safety glasses looking at you, like, and they're like explaining it to you. And they're like, see this right here? See this, you have this much pad left on your brakes. And when you start to hear like that squeaky sound, that is the brakes telling you that you need to get those replaced soon or right now. But you have this much pad left on your brakes and you're still at 50%. And they said you were at metal on metal. No, the metal is down here. You see that? They're explaining it to you. They're educating you. And guess what? You just found your new repair shop, because they want your business and they're going to treat you right. And you might have to go to a couple ones, but this situation that we're talking about right here is a little bit more finesse. And if you have to, bring someone along that is smarter than you when it comes to cars, and just have them ask the questions, have them ask the educated questions. And a lot of times have them play dumb. Like, if you bring a smart person along that understands it, just go, no, I don't understand. Like, what are you talking about right here? And then that is going to allow the repair shop to give them enough rope to either help you or hang themselves. And I've done this a couple of times, and when they start to like speak in circles and start to get all weird, that's when you've caught them in a lie, and you can just go, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna chance it. That's what I've said a couple of times. I guess I'll just chance it, and knowing full well then and there that person was just trying to steal my money. So once you find that good repair shop and you got a good rapport with them, use your manual as the guide. Like I was showing you, I blew it up on a piece of paper and hung it up on a wall. Your manual is what needs to be done. And a lot of times, if you tell the repair shop what needs to be done, that's all that they're going to fix. And they're not going to go and try to find ways to get more money out of you. And there won't be any surprises either. And also, if you're repairing things on a consistent basis, if you go and get your tires rotated, your brakes changed and your oil changed, and then 4,000 miles later, you go back to get your tires rotated and your oil changed, and then they're like, oh, you need new brake pads. It's like, whoa, I need new brake pads? Like, I got new brake pads 4,000 miles ago. You're telling me I need new brake pads now? Like, that's the type of stuff. You are not allowing them to get one over on you. And unfortunately, I'm not trying to paint a bad picture about all repair shops. Like, some of them are awesome. And some of them, they try to find ways to save you money, and they're honest, and then they're the ones that have business out the wazoo. It's the few bad apples that spoil the bunch, unfortunately, and give everybody a bad name. But what you're doing is that I'm at this mileage point, and this is what needs to be fixed, and this is what I'd like you to check to see if I need to get this fixed now or maybe on my next oil change. If you don't change your oil yourself, what you're going to be bringing your car into the shop for 9 times out of 10 is oil changes and tire rotations. That's the thing that is going to need to get changed out on your car more than anything else. Not your rotors, not your struts, not your exhaust system, not your fluids getting flushed. But the thing of it is, those things do need to get fixed. And when they do, you'll kind of know about it ahead of time. And what they'll say is they'll be like, hey, listen, we didn't change your brake pads this time, but you're definitely going to need to get them done the next time you bring them in 4,000 miles from now. So then you can kind of be like, okay, you can make a notation on that sheet, 4,000 miles, definitely get brakes replaced. And this helps you help yourself when it comes to figuring out, is this repair shop doing what they're supposed to be doing, or are they lying to me? And this is what's going to save you money, not only on the car that you have now, but just maintaining that car is what is going to help you from not having to worry about buying another car down the road before you have to. So record what is done and when it gets done, and keep a record of the prices that you paid for a future reference. This is huge for just in case you move or that shop goes out of business, or maybe you just can't go to that shop because they're 3 weeks behind and you have to go to your backup shop and you need to get X, Y, and Z done, and you know X, Y, and Z cost $450. Okay, well, you go to another shop and they're like, it's going to be $750, and you're like, $750? Like, how are you at $750? Like, how did you get to that number? And then they start telling you like, well, we need to do this, that, and the other, and you're like, well, I just had this done 6 months ago and it cost me $450. So where is this extra $300 coming from? And they're going to be like, oh, and then you just be like, all right, never mind, I'll just wait on it. Forget you. So tracking everything can save you big bucks down the road and now too. And just recapping on one thing, like getting that $10 spray paint of primer and just going over a spot on your car that looked like it had some rust on it and you got it off of there, and that's going to save you tons of money. And my first car that I ever owned, I owned it for 14 years and I put 150,000 miles on it from start to finish, and I got my money's worth out of that car. And when new cars today cost between $20,000 and $30,000 just for the base models, it's worth it. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you had any repair shop horror stories, if you had, put them down in the comments. I'd love to hear them. And if you're still struggling to find a repair shop, let us know, and maybe we can help you figure out for yourself how to find a good repair shop. What in the past has stopped you from reaching your financial goals besides shady car dealers and car repair guys? Please like, comment, subscribe. And if you are on Facebook, check us out at 9 to 5ers. Thank you guys so much. Have a good one.